Yeah. No rush.
And this thermal jacket over sea coat doesn't look all that good, but boy, it's.
Oh, hey, it's turned cold outside. But I like that. It's better than 100 degrees. And you know what? If they would have made these courtrooms with some windows, when it gets hot in here, you could open a window, but no, they didn't do that.
I'm very uncomfortable.
Oh, yes.
I don't even mind wind and cold, because I'm from them a lot, and wind and cold is something you wouldn't look at. My sister called me. Christmas holidays. So I was going to sit, she and her husband was riding.
There's another witness, I believe, out in the hallway, waiting for Aurora, I believe.
Oh, okay, so where are you? Somewhere outside.
You
He has a patch of it.
I said, "Oh, well, then," I said, you know, I love them all. Oh, you did. I know better than that. No better than complaining about the weather. There is. Oh, the light yesterday said, well, when I got up, it was 14 below and the high.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's.
Ramiro.
All right, are all the jurors here?
We're missing, I think, one judge.
All right, thank you. Mhm.
You want me to go talk?
Well, which one is? You'll see when he has a uniform. Okay.
All right, and Mr. Hicks is managed assigned counsel. Are they coming back or no?
I'm sorry.
Is managed assigned counsel is
I
your,
believe so.
okay.
He's here to help me with what hour we haven't done yet.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Hold on, there's something wrong with
He
that.
asked me if he could ask some questions. Pretty record response.
Oh, anybody, I mean, if they're sitting with you there and you want them to ask questions, they're more than welcome to.
Hey, Jason, what kind of phone do you have? Sample. If you know how to turn mine off, I just got it yesterday. I know how to turn it off. Is it an iPhone? Yeah. Only my old phone used to button.
Is that an Android?
No, it's an iPhone.
Oh, sorry, can't help you.
Oh, yeah,
You know how to turn it off?
iPhones.
What do you do?
My
Let me see
iPhone.
it.
Push it on the side, hold it down and it'll come up and you just pull it to the side.
Sure.
Yeah, look, you see?
Good, I don't speak iPhone at all.
Jonathan,
Everything
they're like, wait, we're waiting for him. Oh, so in a hurry. He said he was on his way over here just a second ago.
Norma, just keep this on the docket.
Oh, there.
And then you just slide it right there. And then when you.
The only benefit was I could type my flag.
Okay, thank you.
Mark the-
Okay.
mark the bells.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go see what she has. Okay, but just hang on until you can sign.
All right, so let's bring the jurors in if they're ready.
Okay.
No, just have that person brought over and we'll see, because I don't know what type of case that is.
You think that's what
I can maybe find it.
Have it still brought over, because I want to ask him, let him know what's going on. Yeah,
So.
Okay. Thank you. Just remind me and I'll take that case up first. Yes, please.
No, I think you just go.
So is the jurors ready?
We have them ready, Judge. I don't know if you want to have them with the
Oh.
witness here. Do we have to?
So witnesses, y'all need to step outside.
Judge, can you give us this 1 minute? We're signing over custody of the drugs.
All right, so she still can't take those until he testifies.
Well, she can take them before. Oh, no, that's fine. I hereby not proceed.
Nope.
Thank you. I mean, do you want us to wait until testimony?
I mean, that's completely up to her, but it shouldn't be done before testimony.
I mean, that's all done in every trial.
Your Honor, we're missing one juror, number 24.
I mean, it's up to you, if you don't. feel
Well, it's
comfortable-
mine now. I already signed it.
Bring them in.
Bring them in.
As far as I know, that's the right way to do it. Like it's in your custody and then she'll kind of mark it. So,
I mean, that,
That's how I done it. Or didn't put it, that's something I
No,
don't
no, no,
want.
no, I mean, that's completely up to you all, and for whatever happens during appeal, but guys, go for it. Sure.
Okay, bring them in, Judge.
are you guys ready?
Yeah, we need to. Thank you, Judge.
All right, you're welcome. Yes, bring them in. Jason, excuse me, why is he still here? All right.
24 is missing.
Okay, all right, please rise, everyone.
Thank you.
Well, there's.
Are you going to bail?
So that way. Charge. Yeah.
Then you have to, well, you pull wash off.
Oh, no, it's not you all. Oh.
All have the same days off.
All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, I hope everyone had a nice lunch. I know I said that we were going to be breaking for only a few minutes, but sometimes things happen that are outside our control and they need to be taken care of. The other thing I want to let y'all know is sometimes you may see people walking through this door or this door. They're walking through this door because they didn't read the sign on the door that says jury trial in progress. Do not come through this door. Now, you may have other people who are coming through this door. Those are staff members of this court, and sometimes there are emergency documents that I need to sign. But rest assured, the people who are coming through those doors are not related to this case in any way. All right, defense, are you ready to proceed?
May it please the court.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are y'all today? Good. Appreciate the talking. It's very difficult to do this when people are quiet. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. Because we have 45 minutes to try to pick 12 people to be good jurors in a case. And we have to use the answers that you give to weed out people that we think would be bad jurors. And if nobody says anything, it's its own little problem. This is Javier Medina, to whom you were introduced earlier.
Mr. Hicks, I'm gonna need you to speak up, sir.
Oh, okay, that's rare. This is Javier Medina, to whom you were introduced earlier, my co-counsel.
Hi, Jonathan Chavez, how are you doing?
Jonathan Chavez, and I'm Bob Hicks. The DA started out by telling a little bit about herself. I tell a little bit about myself too. I was a teacher for 15 years before I decided to go into law because I decided teaching wasn't stressful and frustrating enough. My friends who have stayed in the profession have assured me that stress and frustration is what I'm looking for. I should have stayed in teaching. But I do like to teach. I did like to teach. I enjoyed it for years. And it pretty well, Judge mentioned something in her opening about the fear of public speaking. It pretty well got me past that. But my big fear is this process right here. Voir dire. Like I said, y'all don't talk. I don't know anything. And it's a whole lot harder to make a choice based on what you don't know than what you do. Now, would everyone agree that someone who's charged with a crime deserves a fair trial?
Yes.
Anybody opposed to that idea? Nobody wants to take them out and string them up and lynch them? I'm from the high plains of Texas, and my grandfather was a Texas Ranger, so I sometimes have a strange sense of humor. Okay, well, what exactly would be a fair trial? Ms. Kobasa, what do you think would be a fair trial?
I wish you listened to the conversation on both sides. So you can make a determination of what the law is and think about what.
Well, you have to decide based on the facts whether the person has committed the crime or has not committed the crime. The law questions come from the law. The law answers anyway. But that's important. Both sides. You know, anybody else have an idea what they think makes a fair trial? Okay. I know it's not easy to jump up and talk in front of 50 of your close personal friends whom you've known for 24 hours. But if you have an answer, your opinion, please raise your hand and remember. We'll listen to it. Okay, part of the fair trial is that you need to listen to both sides. 66.
Make sure the jury's impartial,
There's
no biases or something like that.
That's right. You want to have jurors that are impartial, they don't have any particular favor to the state or to the defense. Attorney was talking about what would make her a bad juror. She'd be a bad juror in a vehicle burglary case. I had a lovely daughter who got beaten up by her boyfriend and was sent to the hospital. He got 8 years. Wasn't long enough, but he moved out of state after his sentence, so he may live to fight another day with somebody else. I would be a terrible juror in a family violence. If I somehow, by some great accident, wound up on the jury, because I take a very dim view of that particular offense. What else? Fair, impartial? Anything else? Now, part of fair and impartial is listening to both sides. When I was teaching, they told us that the two things that were most prevalent in people's learning were what you learned first and what you learned last. Because it's easy to hang on what you just heard, and it's hard to forget sometimes what you hear at the beginning. And in the middle sometimes sounds like Miss Othmar talking in peanuts movies. So. The defense in this case will always go second. That's because, as the judge explained to you, Mr. Medina is entitled to the presumption of innocence. That means he doesn't have anything to prove. The state bears the burden, a very heavy burden, of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that Javier Medina committed this crime. Term presumption of innocence. What exactly does anybody in here have any idea what presumption of innocence means? Pardon me?
But he's assumed innocent.
That's correct. And what he here he was presumed innocent. Okay, well, I said I was a teacher, so let's take a quick guess. Right now, based on what you've heard in this case, is Javier Medina guilty? Anybody think that? Anybody think he's not guilty? 16. And why is that?
Hasn't been proven guilty yet. If at all he will.
That's right, he has not been proven guilty. Yes, sir. I saw your number flash up, but I didn't see.
Me?
No, the gentleman with glasses in the blue coat, the day of his son.
I didn't raise this, but he's presumed innocent until proven guilty.
That's correct. How many of you just don't know yet? Hopefully that'll be everyone. He certainly does. We talked a little bit about the burden of proof. There are several levels of proof in the law. The least amount of proof required for anything is called a scintilla. It's just a hunch. Have nothing to go on, but just, seems like. That's not much. Then there's reasonable suspicion. That's what the police are supposed to have when they stop. Okay? Reasonable suspicion is not based on driving a car with an out-of-state license, right? It's not based on driving a car if you have tattoos. It's not based on any racial designation. That's profiling and it's illegal. Then, the police officer has to have reasonable suspicion to investigate. And they have the authority if they have a reasonable belief. So the wrong is going on, to stop you and ask you about it. As first find out when you're involved, second find out if you know you. That's all fair. Then, from reasonable suspicion, you develop probable cause. That have facts and circumstances that lead to, give you reason to believe or prove reasonable suspicion. And now we get to the trial level. Several of you, I noticed, have been civil jurors previously. And that's what happens on the other side of the street. Civil cases, the preponderance of the evidence. Sounds like a really big deal. The preponderance of the evidence. Well, let's say the Spurs go into triple overtime and the final score is 151 to 150. 151 is a preponderance of points. It doesn't really mean much. You mean greater, more likely than not. And then there's something called fair and convincing evidence. Anybody in here have any idea what fair and convincing evidence is? Yes.
Has an honest person or he admitted to it,
That might
or has something, done something illegal and was,
okay.
was caught doing it.
Clear and convincing evidence is the standard of evidence. How many of y'all have children? Now, if the paper decided if you were a bad parent and wanted to take your children away, how much proof would you want? A lot? Don't want to do that on reasonable suspicion. Certainly wouldn't do it on preponderance of the evidence. Clear and convincing evidence is evidence that is strong enough to be, you know, the explanation that is strong enough to take a child away from his parents. It's pretty serious. And it's really interesting. There are, those of you who serve on the jury will find that there are a lot of things that are defined for you. There are some things that, you know, mean what they mean normally, and there are other things that mean, have a specific meaning during the law. And those will be spelled out for you in the jury trial. There's a definition for reasonable suspicion. There's a definition for probable cause. There's a definition for preponderance of the evidence or clear and convincing evidence. The most serious one of all, reasonable doubt, has no definition. Reasonable doubt is, I've heard lots of people say, pretty much what you think it is. Well, it can't be any of those lowercase. It has to be higher than the amount of evidence that you want to take somebody's child away, or your child away from you. And still, when we get to that point, that's what the state proves. Javier Medina is still what? What?
Innocent.
Not guilty. He is innocent of the crime of which he is accused. That's correct. You have to go beyond that. Whatever the level is for you. District Attorney showed you the slide that talked about intention, like we get the elements of the case. Talked about intentionally knowing and possessing something. That's intentional knowing those a couple of words that don't mean quite exactly what they mean ordinarily. But to sum it up, intention means meant. Knowingly means that he was aware of it, and he said, but he knew what it is. Controlled substance, you hear a lot about what that is. In penalty group one, as I said, are different classes of drugs, 1 through 5. One is the most serious.
Mr. Hicks, I'm
Yes.
sorry, sir, I need you to speak up.
Okay.
You're trailing off behind me.
Dad used to say that getting old is not for the faint of heart. I said, my dad used to say that getting old is not for the faint of heart. These things that are defined for you call terms of art. Now, we said earlier that Javier Medina doesn't have anything to prove. He does not have to testify. The judge instructed you that if he chooses not to testify, that you cannot say that that's an inference that he's guilty. Getting up on the witness stand, has anybody ever been a witness in the trial? I noticed that several of you said that they, there's one person who said that they've been involved in a criminal case, even as a suspect. Yes, what did?
I was a juror before. It was a rape case.
The people sitting up there on the stand testify. Did any of them seem nervous?
The accused,
Any of the other witnesses?
yeah, people are trying to speak. They're nervous because they know everything they say.
There are reasons why people get nervous about something. Like in Voir, people get nervous about saying anything around a bunch of people they don't know. They're public speaking. That's been a common thing. You want to think of anything else? Make someone reluctant to testify? In the state's Voir, one of the people that announced for the number on site.
Sorry, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Agree.
Juror number 8 mentions, I believe it's juror number 8, mentioned an unpleasant experience in her life, and she said she'd be wanting to talk about it. Why? Partly because she's a bunch of people don't know. Maybe it's just because you're private. You don't like to talk about your business out in public. What about health reasons? Anybody think of a health reason to prevent somebody from wanting to testify? Yes.
Tourette's.
Tourette's, yes. What exactly is Tourette's?
I just know that it affects the brain and it can cause you to do things without being able to control it. Stressful situation, it can trigger it. So if you already have a fear of speaking and you go to talk, that it can trigger it.
Do things that you wouldn't normally do, say things you wouldn't normally say. Plus that cussing in the middle of the sentence, and it's not that you're being disrespectful, it's just your mind is remarkable. Okay, anything else? Yes, ma'am. Okay.
A neurodiverse individual, for example, autism, isn't able to, read certain social cues or even verbalize what their feelings and thoughts are.
People are autistic, have trouble expressing their emotions. What about people who have stammers? I mean, many people would be nervous about. If they talk like that, they'd be nervous about speaking, especially when people don't know. Anyone in here who's ever known somebody that used drugs? Hold the cards up and I'll call your number. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 17, 19, 20, 21.
You repeat the question, what did you say?
Pardon me?
What did you hear?
Anyone know anyone who has used drugs and around them? I'm sorry, ma'am. The back of your card says jury, it says Bear County. 22. 23. 25, 27, 28. 30, 31, 32,
Is the question, do we know
33,
someone who has
35.
used
We've pretty
drugs?
well got the whole.
All right, everyone, just one moment. So the question is there anyone who knows of someone who has used drugs? That's the question. If that applies to you, please raise your card.
As I said, pretty well includes everybody. Drugs are a big problem. Is the fact that anyone in here could be influenced in this case in any way, simply because the crime charge is a drug offense. 19. Why would that be?
Getting too personal because it's a large audience. I shared earlier, I had my safety threatened.
All right, so just one second, and I'm gonna pause. All right, so this is what I need everyone to understand. The court reporter, if she cannot hear you, then you might as well have not said anything because she can't take it down And anyone who's reading the record in this case is going to show inaudible. And court reporters don't like in their record for it to have inaudibles because people think that's a bad court reporter. And then maybe that court reporter will never be hired again. So they don't like, they take it as a personal affront to them when they have inaudible listed. Because then everybody's wondering, well, maybe that's something that we needed to know, but we don't know it because the court reporter can take it down. So everyone, please keep your voice at the level that I have mine at. Can everybody in the back row hear me?
Yes.
That's, you need to be talking to the person at the back of the audience. When you're in a play or something, they say, talk, project, talk to the back of the audience. So the back of the audience for everybody in this courtroom is a court reporter. So let's make her job easy today and make sure that she's able to hear everybody. All right, defense, you may proceed. And jury,
Can we get him to speak up? I
Yeah.
can barely hear him. I'm sorry, I can talk louder.
just one moment. We're going to give you a microphone.
That might want it. Yeah, we heard that.
Yeah. That's okay. That's where you do check, testing.
Evidently, the microphone doesn't like me.
Well, just one second. We're going to see if we can get it to work.
I've umpired baseball for 43 years. I can be pretty loud. All right. Anyone know anybody ever accused of using drugs?
Yeah, it's too.
2, 5, 8, 9, 23, 19, 20, 21, 30, 31, 32, 33, 35, 36, 38, 42, 46, 44, 51, 47, 50, 59, 65, 66, 70, 67, 71, 74, 69. Lots of people are supposed to accused of using drugs. How many of you know someone who is accused of drugs falsely? 65. Tell us about that.
One of my uncles was accused of possession or something, and it happened a long time ago, but it wasn't true, or it was someone else's, but it just got pinned on him.
And there was another person on that road that had a car that was around.
It was
68.
my husband, he was pulled over and the cop put some drugs in his vehicle and blamed it on him. He got charged for it.
Were his drugs with police put them there? Number 30.
I had a brother who was accused of the police officer, they had video of him planting in Vietnam.
Anyone over here?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
In all your references to drugs, are you referring to illegal drugs or just drugs in general?
That's a good question. And silly of me not to explain what I meant. Obviously, people who are taking drugs that were prescribed, illnesses or pain management or whatever, that's different than somebody who's going out and using them either recreationally or self-medicating. What does self-medicating mean? 66.
So it's a lot, but people that have back pain, so they get their, their friend has or spray oxycodone, so they use that. They're not prescribed the medication, they're not authorized to use it.
That's correct. You go out and you take your friend's Xanax and her friend's Xanax, and I use Xanax because that's benzodiazepines is one of the most commonly used. You don't have a prescription. You're breaking the law. My wife, dear sweet wife of 42 years, used to drive me crazy. When my daughter got a headache, got a migraine, my wife suffers from chronic migraines. When my daughter, who also suffered from chronic migraines, my wife would give her pain medication. You do realize that every time you do that, you're committing a felony. She said, "Teach my child." It doesn't much matter. All right. Now, I know that some of you have either friends or family employed as law enforcement, employed law enforcement. Which persons were those? Number 11, 19. Number 23, 40, 48, 43, 50, 33, 32, 31, 74, 62, 58, and 57. Now, anyone in here, including those people who are law enforcement and filming, I had a guy one time say, yeah, asking would it influence you one way or the other, just because the police officer was testifying. His response was, yeah, my brother-in-law is a police officer. He come over my hand and his buddies hanging out at my house all the time. Said, I wouldn't believe a damn word they said. Pretty much the response then too. But I did get to thank the man for his honesty. Would anybody in here be more or less inclined to believe a police officer simply because he was a police officer? 19, 30, 38, 49, 36, 42, 48, 46, 38, 45, 37. I missed one. 22, 45, didn't I say that? 64, 61, 62, 66, 67. Okay. Which way would you be influenced? 67. I swear number 67 right this.
What was it?
In which way would you be influenced? More likely or less likely to believe him simply because he's a police officer?
Less likely, because I know a lot of police officers, I'm not related to them, but I do hang around with a lot of people, police officers that are from high school. They got some stories to tell.
Okay. Now, one of the things that one of the principal things police officers do is they arrest folks. And I presume everybody in here thinks that there ought to be a reason for them to arrest folks. Something besides the state of their license plate or color of their skin. Do you think that the police, is there anybody in here who thinks that the police would try to justify the arrest that they make? I've seen people nodding, but I don't see very many numbers going up.
What do you mean by justify?
Justify. Try to explain it. Make things up. Well, we'll get into that. 1, 2, 8, 9, 13, 6, 7, 20, 21, 28, 29, 26, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33, 43, 44, 46, 51, and Bear County. Number 60, 62, 57, 64, 68, 71, and 72.
Question.
Yes, sir.
You're speaking very generically about the police. And I mean, obviously there are good cops and there are bad cops.
Yes.
In what way are you asking that question? Just in general, would any police anywhere make stuff up in order to arrest someone? Or what's the question?
No, that's actually a very perceptive question as well, because there are good cops and they would never do this. And is there anybody in here that believes there's no such thing as a bad cop? Okay, so obviously I'm talking about the bad. The bad ones would do might do something to help their case along. Right? Make the arrest stick. Okay, does anybody else have any more questions? for me? If this is gonna be our last time to talk to each other. I'm sorry if I cold shoulder anybody in the hallway. Yes, ma'am, number 45.
Question, I missed the opportunity this morning. I had a medical appointment. Say that I want to fly at 8:20 in the morning, so. Just to disclose that and let you know that I'm not around tomorrow.
Thank you very much. The judge will appreciate that. They'll appreciate that. Anything else? Well, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm going to thank you very much for your participation in this process. Because this is the basis of our legal system. One tried by jury of his peers. Peers know those legal things. Normally your peers are just people around you. Well, some of my peers I would not necessarily want to be judged by. So, thank you all very much. And have a nice day. Oh, before I go, you'd like to ask some questions?
Yeah, I'll just take a few minutes, guys. My name's Jonathan Chavez, I'm the assistant circuits with the jury selection today. I'm also representing Mr. Medina today as well. I just wanted to go over a few things. When Mr. Hicks had asked the question, as it stands right now, Mr. Medina is not guilty. I think it was only juror number 16 who raised their card. Is that right?
Yeah, but I've been trying to get across that it hadn't I hadn't thought it all the way through, and for me, drugs are like marijuana, hash, whatever. But I'm sorry, we're talking about that.
All right. Actually, the reason that I called you out is because you were honestly the only one that was right in that. As it stands here right now, he is presumed not guilty.
Oh,
Does everybody understand that?
yes.
Yeah, I was just, the only reason I speak up is because I assume he's innocent until not guilty or not, that's why I didn't answer.
Okay, so can we do this one more time? As it stands here, who believes that Mr. Medina is not guilty?
Can we make a distinction between?
I was about to say that.
Innocent and not guilty, because not guilty to me is a decision by the court. Yeah.
Okay, so the difference is not guilty is just the state has not proved their case. So that's the reason that I say not guilty, just because that is, what the decision is. So after that question, I want to ask this question because almost everybody raised their hand. As he sits here right now, who's of the opinion that Mr. Medina is guilty? Okay, I'll ask this. As it stands here right now, who believes just that the fact that Mr. Medina has been accused of a crime and arrested by police officers and taken to jail, who believes that there was a little like an inkling, like you have a little bit of a belief that you might be guilty because of that?
19, 20, 1, 2, 3. 19, 22, 44, 35, 42, 29, 48, 43, 60, 61, 57, 62, 66, 67, 70 and 75, and 68 and 72. 41 and 42, that's good. My apologies. Yes, 17. And 15.
And that's completely all right. We just want you to be honest. So thank you for that. We really just needed to find out. The other thing that I wanted to touch on real quick is with the prosecution had asked what type of evidence that you'd like to see in a case like this. And obviously we can't go into the details, but it's a drug case. And I think they had some PowerPoints listed up there. It was things like, reports, testimony. Is there anything else that anybody would like to see in a drug case?
Can you present past history?
Past history is something that I can't say what they can present, but that's something that you'd like to see in a case like that.
Test maybe.
A drug test, number 1. 13.
Police video cam.
Police video cam. Okay. 38.
Maybe like an example
Ah.
of the size, right? So
Could you stand up there?
maybe like, an example of the size of the, like, maybe you don't have the actual drug here, but like the size of what it looks like, people don't do drugs.
That's actually that's kind of what I was getting at too. It's like
Anybody want to see the drugs themselves? Okay, okay. I was gonna say, as far as we know that this is a case that's less than a gram, so it's a sweet and low packet. So it's about a quarter of a sweet and low packet is what the charge is right now, as it stands. So just to give you a ballpark, it's like a little sweet and low, like the little 1 gram packets. It's maybe like a quarter of that. I think even a little less than that. But okay. The other thing, as far as possession, I wanted to touch on real quick. And the prosecutor used the example of somebody holding a gun. I wanted to talk to you guys about something that might happen more like in real life, as far as just when you know things that are there or aren't there. Like, for example, I'm thinking about if you think about somebody walking by your purse, if it's not there, or backpack or whatever, and drops a sweet and low packet in your backpack. One of the things that's required for possession is knowledge that it's actually there. Does anybody have a problem with that? Or does anybody kind of understand that the person actually has to know that it is there? And it can be something as small as like a quarter of a sweet and low packet. Number 2.
He's gonna drop it, knowledgeably drop meth into someone's bag, just plain evidence.
I don't really know. And I'm not even talking about, that was just an example of a backpack. It could be like, say you have a college roommate and you have like a main little area, and your roommate drops like a little bag somewhere around that you have no idea about. Could be another example. But a purse is that's just something that was an example that I thought of.
Trying to get rid of it.
Trying to get rid of it, I guess that could be one reason. But what I was thinking about is, even more like a common space, like if roommates, somebody has put something in a common space that you as the other roommate don't have any idea about. I just wanted to get it across that knowledge of that the thing is actually there is necessary. Yes, number 9.
Like if you're pulling your keys out of your pocket and it fell out, there happens to be a bag right there. Is that what you're asking, like how it just falls in there?
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, for possession, I just wanted to get it across that you actually have to know that the thing is there. Yeah, like if you're like, as it stands under, like, as you're sitting here right now, there could be something under your seat that you just, has been there the whole time. You're capable of grabbing it. If you knew about it, you're capable of grabbing it, you're capable of destroying it. But the fact that you don't even know it's there, means you're not in possession of it.
My dear sweet wife, and I mentioned before, most radically when she's doing things, hand me her purse. Is there any man in here who really knows what's in the wife's purse?
No.
I know, I don't know. I am not going to look to find out. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have you all step outside. To everyone who's in the box, you need to take your personal belongings with you. Everyone, please leave your cards on the seats. And we will call you back in shortly to let you know who will be on the jury panel.
Yes. Oh.
Judge, can we do the position already on the other side?
Yes.
Yeah, well, our back's gonna be, we're gonna have to stand with all these people. Here, do you want me to?
All right, so everyone, this is the schedule. The jurors are gonna be back here tomorrow at 1:30. We'll have our morning docket at 9 and we'll recess at 12. But your client needs to be here at 8 a.m. And Dr. Jumis will be here at 8 a.m. And Deputy Laura, would they be able to use the jury room perhaps? All right, so you all will be able to talk with him in the jury room. All right, thanks. So we're gonna go on the record. So I can let you all know who's going to be on the jury panel and you all can let me know if there's any objection. All right, the persons who will be on the jury are number 10, 11, 14, 32, 33, 34, 35, 37, 38, 40, 41, and 42. Any objections from the state?
And Judge, I heard 10, 11, 14, 32, 33, 34, 35, 37, 38, 40, 41, 42.
Yes.
Okay.
Any objection?
No objection from the state, Judge.
Defense, any objection? I'm sorry? All right, 10, 11, 14, 32, 33, 34, 35, 37, 38, 40, 41, and 42. Any objection?
None.
And the other alternates would be 48 and 49. Any objection?
None from the state, Judge.
Defense?
None from the bench.
All right, let's bring them in.
Give these back to Carolyn.
No, just go all the way to the edge. Go all the way to the edge, it's easier for people just to get in. Just all the way to the edge. Those are your excuses for working in school. All the way to the edge. Doesn't matter, just all the way to the edge. Sam, flip it over. Go all the way to the edge, so everybody can sit. Because not everybody's gonna have a seat. Doesn't matter for, as long as we.
You said anyway?
Yes, just follow. Please have a seat. No, doesn't have any numbers. Oh, no, just have a seat. Just all the way to the edge. Ma'am, your jacket, if you just sit, because not everybody's gonna have a seat. Oh, here, ma'am. This bench right here. This bench. By a number? No, no, there's no number, just have a seat on the bench. For like the jurors. And that's it, just go ahead and stand. Sorry,
Oh, that's
nice try. Nice try.
You're coming.
All right, so everyone, please have a seat, and I know some of you all will be standing.
Then you have to stand.
All right, so everyone, thank you so much for your service and for coming. You should have white sheets of paper. That's to signify that you are here. If for some reason there is someone without a white piece of paper, if you've accidentally taken two, only one counts. So make sure you don't have two. And if you can give them to somebody else who maybe is missing one. If not, Deputy Mejia, do you have extra?
Yes.
You will see Deputy Mejia on your way out, and Deputy Mejia will pass those to you. You're always welcome to come to the 187 District Court. I always encourage people to see what's happening in courtrooms so you'll know about the process and what happens in the judicial system. I do discourage people from going to juvenile courts because those are juveniles, or either to Child Protective Services Court, because those are very sensitive cases. I've practiced law in both of those areas. So I just discourage people from doing that. The white sheets of paper you have, you can do one or two things with it. One, you can keep it, and what will end up happening is you will receive payment for your services here. It will come in the mail. It will come maybe a month or 2 months later. And then, oh, you don't have to take this down. You just take everything down. Thank you so much. This is not going up with the record, but so with regards to those white sheets of paper, you can actually donate the money that you will be received. There are plenty of organizations that you can donate it to, or if there's a specific organization you would like to donate the pay that you will receive from coming today, just let them know and they'll pull it up on the system and you will be able to do that. Otherwise, what will end up happening is 2 months from now, you'll receive a check in the mail. You will think, oh, is this real? And then you will say, wait a minute, I remember that was the day I had such a great time in the 187 District Court with Judge Boyd. And that's how you will remember that it's a real check. So what you'll need to do to get validation for your parking, you'll need to go downstairs to the basement, which is in the basement. Just take the elevator to B, go down, and they'll validate your parking if that needs to be done. I'm going to call the names of the jurors who will be on the jury, and you'll need to take your items and take a seat in the box. Emmett King. Mark Frioli. Bernadette Cantangle. Simon Robertson. Edwin Gutierrez. Adrian Delgado. Paul Stubbs. James Hunt. Jessica Tober. LaWanda Mitchell. Clarissa Reyes. Deborah Zales. Robert Jordan. Tiffany Fayed. All right, everyone, thank you for your service. If you don't have a white sheet, just grab one from the deputy and you are excused. Gonna rise.
Okay, crossing my fingers. Oh, nice. I could just, we'll get to that when we get there. She'll talk to me in a bit.
See, people come and they never want to leave. All right, everyone, please have a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you the rules of your service here today. Okay. So each day before you leave, I'll let you know when we'll need you back here. In this courtroom, the being too hot, but sometimes it may be cold, and it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, because we don't have extra jackets or blankets. I do understand that those chairs are uncomfortable. We do have some pillows in the back. I don't know if it's enough pillows for everyone, but if you want to bring your own pillow from home, you're more than welcome to make the chair more comfortable, or the pillows that we have in back, you can bring those with you as well. You can bring drinks in the courtroom, because I know sometimes people get thirsty, but just make sure it's something with a cap on it, because we try to avoid spillages as much as possible. When you come back tomorrow, you're going to report to the jury room. You're not going to report to the courtroom. Deputy Laura will show you where you need to report. I don't expect any publicity to be involved in this case, but if you see something about this case or hear something about this case, do not look at it. Do not turn on. Do not do any of your own investigation. Do not Google. Do not use any social media about this case. Everything that you need to know about this case will come from inside the courtroom. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
Now, with regards to the time that you'll be here tomorrow, we're going to start tomorrow at 1:30. Now, if you can imagine, the parking garage gets pretty full because everyone who works in this building, and sometimes we have over 200 jurors a day who are being called down, they go to that parking garage. But because I'm having you come in tomorrow at 1:30, Usually at noontime, sometimes people will go what I call off campus for lunch. So there may be parking available. So you probably, if you want to be assured, I'd say 90% chance of having a parking space in the garage, you probably should come here at no later than 12. And there are plenty of places to eat downtown. Deputy Laura will show you the jury room, and we have a refrigerator in there where you can bring your own lunch if you want to bring your lunch, or if you want to bring breakfast, because we're starting tomorrow at 1:30 because I have other cases that are on the docket. And usually that what happens, and the reason why we start late. Sometimes we'll be taking breaks because sometimes I have to take a break because maybe somebody from another court is requesting that I help them with something, and we all try to do that for each other. But whenever you need a break, even if it's during testimony or something, just do this and we'll give you a break. Usually I try to cut off testimony and evidence by 4:30. That way you can leave and you can beat rush hour traffic. The only exception to that sometimes jurors will say, no, we prefer to continue, and I'll let you continue. But I try not to break at 4:30 if we're in the middle of testimony, because I think it's fair for both sides to have had a chance to direct and cross-examine a witness if that witness has been presented to you all. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Yes, I've got a medical appointment on Monday morning at 10.
Mhm.
That I've been waiting for a specialist for about 4 months, and it's highly important that I attend that specialist.
Okay. All right, I understand what you're saying, and I'm sure Deputy Laura has told all of you this about me. I don't believe in crossing a bridge until we've built that bridge. So we're going to see where we are. If we're here on Friday, then we'll see where we are on Friday to take care of the medical issue that you're telling me about, okay? Is there anything else from anyone else? All right, so from here on out, 1:30 tomorrow, I'm going to give you your oath and swear you in. After that happens, the only way you can communicate with any of us will be through the deputy. Does everyone understand? Okay. All right. Any other questions from anyone? Yes.
Do you know about how long it's gonna be till you tell our family?
Oh, well, I can tell you, this is not going to be California where the trial lasts for, 2 years and you're not seeing your family or anything. So sometimes juries take on a life of their own. I am learning about this case the same way you do. A lot of people think judges have seen all the evidence that is going to be presented, but I have not. So once the evidence starts, however it's going to play out, then I will have a better chance. And then the state and the defense will have a better chance of telling me how long they think it's going to go. Probably by Thursday afternoon, during some of the breaks, I'll probably have a better idea. Anything else? All right, so we'll be back here Thursday at 1:30. I suggest you probably arrive at 12. And if everybody's not here at 1:30, we can't start until everybody's here. All right, so Deputy Laura will show you which way to go. Everyone, please rise.
Yeah, come on. I'll talk to them here.
All right, everyone, please be seated. Just 1 second. All right, so what's going to happen tomorrow? Mr. Medina, I'm going to need you here exactly at 8 a.m. And Mr. Hicks, if you'll be here at 8 a.m. and Dr. Jumis will be here. And if there's any documentation that he needs to give Dr. Jumis, medications or anything of that nature, just present that to Dr. Jumis. All right, is there anything else from either side?
Busy.